Well, welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and pop quiz. What made Generation 1's Amnesia the strongest move to ever exist in Pokemon? If you answered the special stat, you are correct. So as many people know, in the first generation of Pokemon, there was no special attack, there was no special defense, it was all one in the special stat, which means anything that boosted or effective special would also raise or lower special attack and special defense simultaneously. The problem is, Amnesia has effectively the same effect. In modern Pokemon games, it is +2 to your special defense, while in the Generation 1 Pokemon games, it was +2 to special. So you were doubling your special attack, doubling your special defense for free. No other move introduced in Pokemon has been this powerful. There is no way to get a +4 for free with no drawbacks in a single move like this. Sure, we have some things that are close. We have Quiver Dance, we have Cotton Guard, there is the drastic stat change, but nothing quite like original Amnesia until Pokemon Quest. So let's go and check out Machamp here for a bit. If we go in and see Machamp's move, we can see this icon over here, and it shows a defense and an offensive symbol, and it's just Bulk Up. I mean, we all know what Bulk Up does in modern Pokemon, plus attack, plus defense. How is that going to be so broken? Let's just read this to make sure. User tenses up its muscles to bulk up its body, raising damage it deals for a while, but also reduces the damage user takes. Well, much like the original Pokemon games, these stats are very simplified, and if anything, this just covers everything. All the damage you deal is increased, all the damage you receive is decreased. Now this is just the most broken thing ever because nothing else really does this. That you can either harden and gain defenses, or you can do something that raises your attack temporarily, but we don't get both, which pretty much makes you unstoppable. Now, that's pretty strong on just a Pokemon. Like, you use this, you gain defense, you gain attack, you hit harder, you're tankier. Maybe you can combo that out with some good stones or something, but here's where it gets silly. The Sharing Stone. Effect for buddies, 25%. Well, you can stack those sharing stones, and you can try to get the effect as close as possible, and honestly, if I had a third sharing stone, I'd put that here instead of the weight less stone, which means you can give bulk up to your entire team, thus boosting your damage, boosting your tankiness on your allied Pokemon. I mean, look at Alakazam. This is a glass cannon, only 1,200 hit points. It has 8 slots for offensive stones, but only 1 for a health stone. And you know what? I'm just gonna ride this thing for the most damage possible. So now my glass cannon hits harder and is reinforced with steel. And you know what? Let's just do that for the other Alakazam as well. So you can effectively do this with any Pokemon, and then you're good to go, and you just need the Machamp. So your Machamp becomes the ultimate support Pokemon, and you might be thinking, well, what about healing? What if I don't have a Pokemon that has healing or anything like that? Well, there's the hit healing runes. So we have this right here, hit healing 2%. You get a couple of these, you do about 8 to 10% hit healing, and every time you use an ability, you're getting all of your health back. Even Machamp. Like, okay, Machamp's giving up something, right? Machamp must be useless if it doesn't have a move that it can use offensively. But thing is, its basic attacks still do a lot of damage because you're buffing your attacks. So Machamp will still just regular attack for about 8,000 damage, and if you have enough hit healing, then it's healing itself. So you don't need any other supportiveness. You don't need any way else of buffing your team. You just need everyone to hit harder and be tankier, and that's pretty broken. Now my plan was to get a Chansey. The idea being, if I have the highest hit point Pokemon spamming a recovery move, I should be able to heal indefinitely and then just not die unless I'm way in over my head in a place that is way too powerful for me. So Chansey is at least going to be a good staple Pokemon that as long as it's healing, as long as it's staying alive, then Alakazam gets back up, it uses one move, hit healing puts it to full, and it's like it spawns at full health. So really there should be no problems. Unfortunately, it's just nowhere near as good as Machamp. So as we can see, I had a 21,000 power, and I was able to actually clear up to level 25,000 with that, so putting me slightly above where I am. Well, the thing is, my power level right now is only 22,404. I was able to clear up to 32,000 with this. That is how strong the Machamp is, and actually the math plays out. Because what makes it even crazier is I think that every single stat boost in this game is treated the same. Harden effectively doubles your defense. If you're going to use Dragon Dance, it effectively doubles your attack and gives you a good amount of speed. So that means Bulk Up is doubling your defense and doubling your attack on the one stat fits all kind of mechanic that's going on in this game. So that means it's actually stronger than Amnesia, which is terrifying to think about. but that's really what's going on here, and that's kind of reflected. So 22,000 getting an effective 50% boost, because if I have 2 of those sharing stones, that's giving Alakazam 50% more damage, 50% more durability, and having Machamp kind of carry a little bit of its own weight as well. That's pushing us up to 32,000. Now, as you can see, the game really wasn't expecting us to have that big of a jump. That goes 20, 25, 30, then 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 50. So they see that it's going to get harder as it scales up like that, but they weren't expecting that much of a jump that quickly. I was able to just kind of just soar over the next big parts. And the craziest thing about this is I can auto 30,000. So what that means is we have a 22k team just doing auto at 30,000, and anyone that's played this game for any amount of time knows how inefficient auto is. That I'm not using my moves when I should be. Like, look at that. Alakazam took a good second when Psycho Cut came off cooldown, trying to line up that shot and stuff. So there's times where they'll just like run, they won't even dodge attacks or anything, but I can just AFK this. I can AFK this, and 90% of the time I'll clear 30,000, but when you think about it, this is with 22,000 stones. So as I do this automatically, I'm going to be able to get those higher level stones, and I'm going to get my power level up even higher. So I feel like I could, with enough grinding, be able to get to around 24,000, 25,000 power level with this, which should be able to push me up into that next tier after I beat 32,000, so maybe I can auto 32,000. 33,000 once I've gotten the appropriate stones. I mean, look at this. Like, that's what you can do. And eventually, yeah, the champ hits for 15,000 on a solo auto. It doesn't need any abilities. It doesn't need any extra moves or stuff like that. Also, I'm going to pop out of auto because I can really quick and just use bulk up. Like, that's one thing I don't like about the status moves, is that the AI doesn't use it when it comes off cooldown every time. So that means now we can get our red guy bulked up, everyone's full, and Porygon is already missing a third of its health. That's how broken the strategy is. Like, you guys know that this game is about just steep cliff after steep cliff. It's an endless climb, and sometimes you just hit a brick wall, and you're going to have to grind for like a day or even longer to get over that. Okay, Machamp went down, but I mean, yeah, unless we get like hyper beamed or something, we should be okay. And this is where also auto can kind of be a bane, that if I wanted to take it off auto, like, why don't you just hit the Porygon? There we go. All right, actually I didn't have to take it off auto. So sometimes it gets a little sketchy, but again, we're way above our head, like we're way over our head, and we're still able to handle it right now. And I just got a gold stone because my expedition bonus. There's all kinds of crazy things that are stacking with this, and that's a 645. That's actually pretty bad. But at this rate, we can actually get around 800s. So, in theory, if I did this long enough and got good enough RNG to upgrade my entire team, that means we're getting several thousand points on top of that, and that's kind of the goal behind this. So it does show that Machamp, it's bulk up. It gives you attack, it gives you defense, it effectively just gives double to all your stats, and depending on how much of that power-up stuff you have, it actually carries over and then buffs your entire team well beyond their level. So there's probably some other team composition stuff. Having double Alakazam, maybe not the best thing. I've been seeing a lot of people have success with Dragonite, but Dragonite, it wants like Dragon Dance into Draco Meteor and stuff. Machamp is really just like the staple Pokemon. So as long as you have Machamp, it doesn't matter what other 2 Pokemon you have, as long as they're competent fighters that are level 100, have the appropriate stones, and they're doing really well. And even if they're not fully optimized, Machamp will kind of round out that optimization for you. So don't make the mistakes I made. If you think like, oh man, this is the best Pokemon ever, like I got that Lapras, and I'm holding on to it because it can use Aqua Ring, or I got that Chansey and it has Soft Boiled, or maybe you got another Pokemon that has like Recover or something, Machamp just gets too many stats, and then once you start getting into those hit healing stones, you're going to be good to go. Now, there's also something else I want to clarify about some other videos that I did, because I feel like there's going to be a few people that might say, but I thought you said Rhydon was like the strongest Pokemon in the game, and it kind of is for clearing out the initial areas, because when you have Machamp, you know, it's going to find the most success when you're getting that hit healing going on, when you're actually high enough level to where it can be a tank that can kind of give you some supportive, almost Bard level stuff that, you know, it throws out a buff for the entire team, and everyone just gets to go on a rampage, but it's not going to be as effective in the earlier stages of the game, because you need to have that Machop evolve into a Machoke, into a Machamp, and then you just don't have the resources. In this late game, I had enough resources to where I could farm Machops until I got a Machop with the golden cooking. So I think I ended up getting this Machamp at like level 92 as a Machop, and then I had enough like spare Machops and stuff to get the right move reroll to get everything perfect. So you don't have that luxury. If you get an unoptimized Machop, you're kind of stuck with it for the rest of the game. But what I learned with the Rhyhorn and the Rhydon is that it's really easy. You make the most basic rock soup, and then you're going to get a really powerful Pokemon that has a good amount of innate tankiness, and then just does insane amounts of damage with Crunch. So I got it on the Crunch, and that was actually able to push me through these 3 levels, and then had type effectiveness bonuses here. So yeah, I had rock and then ground bonuses, which made it even easier, and that kind of showed like maybe Rhyhorn, Rhydon, kind of like the best early game Pokemon, that once you get into World 4, really strong. So maybe try to have like a tanky Pokemon that kind of keeps everyone alive, just in case Rhyhorn goes down. But once you start getting into this late game, once you start getting to Happenstance Island, you need to start pulling out the tricks. You go from 20k to 36,000 when it just seems like an impossibility, because I remember a while ago I was like, wait a second, wasn't like 5k a huge wall? Wasn't like 10k just like, nah, I can't do it anymore, guys. So it's just going to get harder from there, and even then the stones and levels, it gets exponential, and it's even harder to hit the next milestone. So there's a few takeaways from this. Early on, you can find a lot of success. Mid to late game, there's a lot of team compositions that work, but overall, don't doubt status. That I'm actually really disappointed in myself, because I did have 3 of those power-up stones. I had 3 of them, and I recycled one because I was like, when am I ever going to use 3 of these sharing stones? You know, the effects for buddies, how good can it be? Well, there was that sleeper OP, then when people were like, wait a second, bulk up's really good, that's when it kind of got out, and that's where things got crazy. So if you guys enjoyed the video, Machamp, hands down, the strongest Pokemon in Pokemon Quest. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.